6:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, so it is a balmy 29 degrees outside.
I know.
And on the Super Text line, it's like minus 50 because people are mad at me because I had a thing or two to say about the Christmas music.
Oh.
So people are mad at me for, talking to Louie about the Christmas music.
For being a Grinch. Yeah. I get it.
I'm a Grinch and a Grouch. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So listen, Louie, clearly the listening audience loves the Christmas bumper music. One person actually, Joan, told me to take a Midol.
Oh my gosh.
You may have to explain that to me, but whatever. Anyway, moving right along. So Louie, if people, I am here to serve the audience.
Yeah.
And so if the folks listening want to hear Christmas music, then you go ahead and you play that Christmas music. By the way, I do apologize. No WTN TV this morning. For whatever reason, it is not working. And so we are going old school today and only radio. So we apologize for that. We know how much people love to watch us on TV. So hopefully we'll be able to get that up by the time Chris Hand comes on at 9 o'clock. They are working on the issue. Okay. 6:08 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. By the way, Brian Wilson is going to be joining us here in just a little bit at 6:36 as we continue our coverage of a number of different things, including the fact that Matt Van Epps, did win the special election for the 7th Congressional District. He did not win it by 22 points. He won it by roughly 8 or 9, which, by the way, was the prediction of your not-so-humble host on this because I was right. Other people were right as well. And so I'm going to take the win. And I'm also going to tell the Republican Party, listen, if there's anything that we need to learn from this, then learn from it and act upon it because the midterm elections is coming. I had a lot to say about this in the 5 o'clock hour. There's other things that I want to talk about as well. One of the things that I thought was interesting was President Trump last night or yesterday during this cabinet meeting, which was pretty raucous. I mean, it was a good meeting, and there was a lot of great things that took place during the meeting. I will tell you, friends, though, that the president was slurring. And I spent 3 years harping on Joe Biden and his clear mental issues. And so I would be an absolute hypocrite if I did not say that, yes, I did notice that the president was slurring. But you know what? Okay, so he was slurring. The man is, 79 years old? And so this is a guy who does 2 or 3 news conferences every single day. I mean, honestly, he's up all night. He's posting on social media. And if I could give one word of advice to the president, it would be to get more sleep. Because there's also video out there of him looking like he may have been dozing off during that cabinet meeting. He had a very busy day yesterday. And so the president, there's a lot of questions now about his health. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe that there is anything wrong with President Trump. Why he was slurring, I don't know. I don't know what medications he's on. But I can tell you that even if his voice was slurring, clearly the president is sharp as a tack.
But you always find something new, like, is he in good health? Biden was great, but is Trump in good health? I sit here, I do 4 news conferences a day. I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people. I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you answers that solve your little problems. You go back and you can't find anything, but you do stories about Biden was in wonderful health. The guy didn't do a news conference for 8 months. If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president. You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago, but who the hell knows?
All right. So, and again, there was a slur, but I'm not worried about it. And listen, whatever. Man is 79 years old. I don't see any other issues with the president, but I'm going to say this. It is something to watch. That's all. It is something to watch. By the way, Joan, Super Talk TV is now up and running.
No way.
So if you want to see us on YouTube and Twitter and X, 997WTN.com, and Facebook and all that. Go check us out right now. Louis, I'd like to do a Daily Dan poll. All right. So watch us on YouTube. Here's my idea for a poll. Are you concerned that President Trump was slurring during his cabinet meeting yesterday? You probably, I don't know, Joan, you said you're not feeling well, so you probably didn't hear it. I heard it a little bit in that audio bite there. So there was a little bit of a slur.
Anything.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
Yeah, there's a little bit there. Again, I'm not going to get all excited about it. Part of me wonders if the media, they completely, and you know this, they completely ignored the clear health issues of Joe Biden. And so now I wonder if they are overcompensating for ignoring what was going on with Joe Biden, and now they're trying to nitpick on Donald Trump. Or they just don't like Donald Trump, and so that's what they're trying to do. So I'll find an audio bite, and I think I've got one, where the president was slurring, because he was. And I'm always going to be honest with you folks, and I'm not going to lie and tell you, oh, he wasn't slurring. He was. Am I concerned about it? Not really. Again, it is just something to watch. It is 6, coming up on 6:14, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. And want to check the roads right now on Super Talk 99.7. As far as your weather for today, it is 29 degrees outside. It is cold. It's going to get warmer later on, high of 45, and you're going to have some sunshine and a few clouds. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Scott Jennings, I want to play some Scott Jennings audio, and he's talking about the ramifications of last night's special election. He was on CNN. Everybody is covering this, as they should. A lot this morning because of a number of different reasons. Number one, as we've been talking about, it is the only game in town. That's number one. And number two, the media, in my opinion, I think they're trying to make a lot out of this. But this is Scott Jennings last night. By the way, the headline is Republicans win close special election in district Trump won by 22 points. Here's what Scott Jennings has to say.
I still think they are in position to make an argument that their economic theories are better than the Democrats' theories. And Democrats, after all, took prices to the moon, and now they want to forget the last 4 years and pretend like this just started 10 months ago. I think most voters know that's patently ridiculous. I do have a slight disagreement with David. I do think we'll hear from her again. I think she'll run again, and I think she and her brand of politics are the median Democrat. This is the basic Democrat you're going to get in most races around the country. This person running on defund the police, radical progressive positions, whether you're in Nashville or Manhattan or Florida or California, wherever you happen to be, this is what the Democratic base wants. The most cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs person they can find, and they're going to look at these results and say, hey, this is how we got so close, so let's replicate it around the country. I think we'll hear from her and her kind for the next year. I don't think it'll be good for Democrats.
That's going to be interesting, actually, because he's got a great point. Scott Jennings has a great point.
The cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs point?
The cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs point, yes. But when he says that the Democrats are excited that they were able to get this close, that they're going to try to replicate this across the country, which is fine if that's what they want to do. I don't believe that the Republican Party, I don't believe that they'll take that kind of a candidate lightly. So if they want to bring out, as Scott Jennings says, a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of candidate, well, then the Republicans, hey, Louis, shut off your mic, will you? There you go. All right. So the Republicans are going to react and respond to that kind of a candidate. So I think that right now the Republicans are operating at a position of strength. I really do. There's a lot of people that are out there saying, oh, the Republicans, they're on the ropes and Donald Trump is losing his support. Well, Donald Trump is losing some support among independents. I do believe, though, and I've got some a bit of a conversation on this coming up, but I do believe that the Republicans are primed for a really good 2026. But here's Here is more from Scott Jennings.
But can I ask you on that? Because you said that she ran on defund the police. There were her past comments on that, but she said that that was basically when she was a private citizen, before she was representing the state legislature. I mean, that wasn't like a core tenet of her campaign. She talked about affordability. So I think my question is do you really think that's what every Democrat looks like? I mean, I don't think that was the main, that was something that a criticism of hers, obviously, in past comments, but that wasn't the, tenet of her campaign or anything.
She got asked about it repeatedly and refused to back away from it.
Yep.
And look, I'm just telling you, this is what Democrats believe and this is what their base wants. It's why she wouldn't go back on it. I was just a private citizen. Oh my gosh, we've never held what you said as a private citizen against you in a political campaign, for goodness sakes. What a ridiculous way to just maintain a position that nobody likes. This is the median Democrat position. She is the median Democrat candidate, and that's what their base wants. So that's what we're in for, and Republicans need to draw bright lines on this stuff in every race in the country.
So there you go. That is Scott Jennings. Again, he is correct. I think the Republicans have a lot to be proud of right now. And good things are coming in 2026 as well, as far as the economy. Remember in the one big beautiful bill, and I don't want to relitigate this thing, but all the tax cuts and the deductions, we've got the lower tax rates. We've got the permanent double standard deduction. We've got the child tax credit increases. We also have, of course, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits. You buy an American car, you get to deduct that interest. There's a lot of good that is in the big, beautiful bill. Now, did it have, as we've all been saying for a long time now, did it have a lot of stuff that we didn't like, a lot of pork? Absolutely. But I do believe that the economic news is going to be good next year. So one of the things when you look at what is coming up next year, as far as what was in the big, beautiful bill, Scott Bessent had a lot of great things to say about this, and we're going to get into that coming up straight ahead. By the way, don't forget, we do have Brian Wilson. He's going to come up at 6:36. At 7:06, we've got Tom Pappert. He is going to be joining us as well, and he's going to talk about some of the numbers involved in last night's and yesterday's 7th congressional race. And at 7:35, we do have Congressman-elect Matt Van Epps. He'll be joining us as well. Very busy show. It is 6:20. Hey, coming up at 6:30, Joan Jones has the news. Joan, what do we got coming up?
Isn't this lovely, Dan?
Awesome. It is awesome.
Now
I love
you're
this.
Getting it. Now you're getting it.
6:26, Nashville's Morning News. Merry Christmas, everyone. By the way, we got Brian Wilson coming up. And I don't know what the latest number is on Christmas trees in the Wilson household.
Yeah.
But we're going to get an update coming up.
Good.
All right, so we were talking about Donald Trump slurring. So I'm going to play this, Joan, and you be the judge. Is Donald Trump slurring? He's talking about this incredible donation from the Dells regarding the accounts for kids. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But
Days of the year for philanthropy and charitable giving. And this afternoon, Michael and Susan Dell are committing to one of the largest private donations in American history, which will directly benefit the next generation of American children through the new Trump Accounts program.
all right, so he's slurring. I mean, did you hear that, Joan, or is it just me? I heard it.
You may have heard it, but I think you're looking for it.
I don't think. Okay, so no, I'm not. I'm just going to tell you what happened. This morning, I didn't know about this until I saw it this morning.
Okay.
I'm pulling audio as I do every single morning, and I noticed it. Then I Googled Trump slurring, and I realized there's a lot of people who. I mean, it was a story.
Okay.
So I did notice it. I'm not looking for it. I did notice it, and again, I would be a hypocrite if I said, "Oh, he's not slurring." He is slurring. I don't think it's any big deal. I mean, I'm going to tell you. There are mornings where I'm slurring because I have allergies. And so it happens to me
I thought
where
that was the drinking problem.
Well, there's that too. In the occasional cannabis use. I'm just kidding. I know it sometimes sounds like that, but no, I'm not. But no, there's times when, I have allergies. I don't know. Maybe he's on some kind of a medication. But I don't see it impacting his thinking. That's the thing. I don't see it impacting his thinking. When Joe Biden was slurring, he was also wandering all over the place And he'd go for like days and weeks. Nobody would see him. Nobody would talk to him. You wouldn't hear much from him. And then you would see him, and he's a complete and utter mess, not to mention the fact that half the time you couldn't even understand what the heck the man was saying. So I don't know why the president was slurring. I don't think it's a big deal because I don't see his thinking impaired at all. And he is sharp. He's leading all of these meetings. He's leading all of these, the cabinet meeting from yesterday, press conferences as well. And so I don't see this as a big story. I don't. He's 79 years old, and maybe he's taken some medication. I really don't know. By the way, they did release some of the medical records that he's done. I haven't paid attention to that part of the story, and everything is fine. So I think that the media is hyper-focused on Donald Trump, number one, because it's Donald Trump, and number two, because there may be an overreaction because they completely ignored Joe Biden's clear cognitive decline. And I don't see any cognitive decline in Donald Trump. It is 6:30. Brian Wilson up next on WTN. 6:36 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Looking at some of these numbers, I'm going to get Brian Wilson's take on this. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dan. Good morning to you.
All right, so I'm looking at just a couple of things here regarding last night's District 7. I mean, Matt Van Epps obliterated Afton Bain in, for example, suburban Williamson County.
Right.
He got, like 25,000 votes, and she got like 9,000. So, I mean, she did well in Davidson County. Ultimately, I think she lost by, and he won by about, 8 or 9%. And by the way, I would mention that the Cook Political Report has this district up 10, not 22. So there's a lot of different ways to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
But give me your overall.
Well, listen, first of all, a win is a win, and you take it and you celebrate, and I will not allow the Democrats to come forward and say, well, we lost, but we won.
Yeah, that's
because, that doesn't fly. A win is a win is a win, and congratulations to Matt Van Epps. Now, set all that aside for just a moment and look at this as the way the political experts look at it, and that is, how did it do compared to 2024? Well, there are some flashing red lights here that we should pay attention to. Number one, Davidson County. She got 32,000 votes compared to 9,000 votes for Matt Van Epps in Davidson County. It was 77% of the vote compared to 21.5% of the vote. Now, that's a good turnout. Now, the thing that saved Van Epps was the fact that all of the other counties came to his rescue, even Montgomery County, where it was a little closer, he won by 9 points. So that's all very good, but you got to look at how the Democrats performed. Bain got over 115% of the 2022 Democrats nominees total. In other words, she did way better than Democrats have done before.
I think the Democrats, number one, they smell blood in the water.
Yep.
That's number one. And number two, they really did pull out all the stops here in this special election.
They spent a ton of money, and they really crashed the boards. Ted Cruz put it this way last night. He said it was dangerous. We could have lost this district because people who showed up, many of them are the ones who are motivated by how much they dislike President Trump. He talked about the next election, the midterm election. In a year, it's going to be a turnout election, and the left will show up because hate is a powerful motivator. And this is the thing that I've been raising the flag about. Democrats are motivated because they hate Trump.
Yep.
I mean, it's the Trump derangement thing. They just can't stand him. And our side, we're sort of rocking along here going, oh, everything's good and the economy's starting to turn around and I'm feeling good about things. I believe we're headed in the right direction. But you got to understand that the Democrats do not share that opinion. So the midterm election is what you got to look at, and I think that it's entirely possible it's going to be a very tight election. All of the people who do this for a living are sort of looking at this and going, man, we have got to get it together for the midterm elections. The good news is, of course, that I think for the midterm elections, the economy is going to be coming around. A lot of the things that Trump has done really haven't, hit the market yet. They haven't really landed.
It hasn't baked in yet.
No, it hasn't really baked in yet. I mean, it's not really going to happen until after people start to file their tax returns.
Yep.
And then they're going to see, hey, all of a sudden I got more money than I expected to have, and it's going to boost the economy and everything will be fine. I think people will be well satisfied by the time we get there, but we have to be very vigilant here because, look, he won. It was a 9-point win. I don't know where we were. The last time I was with you was just before Thanksgiving when that poll came out that had Van Epps up by only 2.
Yeah, I think that was so here, and it's
it may have been an outlier, but it may have also been closer to the truth than we would want to admit. And and I think had it not been for people crashing the board, sending up the flare, including the voices you hear on this radio station, that we might not have had as big a turnout as we did. It was a big turnout for an off-year election. It really was. So, I mean, people got to the polls. I think our side woke up late and said, holy moly, we can't let this woman win. We've got to crash the boards. And they turned out big on Election Day, and it may have turned the thing around. But one way or the other, it does. I don't think it bodes very well for the midterm elections. Maybe not in Tennessee, but I mean, basically, let's see. Trump won this district by 22 points.
Yep.
And Matt Van Epps won it by 9. That's an alarm bell that should be going off.
So one of the things, a couple things real quick. Number one, on that Emerson poll, 2%, Van Epps up by 2%. The Poly market was actually more accurate than the Emerson poll. But here's the thing, though. You bring up a great point, and part of what you and I talked about last time, I don't know if you remember, but part of what I was saying was it's possible that polling was done, and it was done
just before all the crazy
stuff came out.
You may have a good point there, Dan.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you dove into the data, they actually did not have enough Trump support representation. Right. So, all right, putting all that aside, she says that she's going to be back. It sounds like Afton Bain is going to run again. Can I ask you this question? I would say that she was clearly a flawed candidate in many different ways. I believe that she is weak on policy. She's not great on television. She is somebody who is like AOC, very social media savvy. But then when it came time to, answering questions from, air quoting, journalists on CNN and MS Now, she completely dropped the ball. So do you think that she is a viable candidate to run in a Democrat primary heading into the next midterm election?
Well, I think that she will walk away from this saying, well, I lost, but I did better than everybody expected, and I think she'll be motivated to try it again. I don't think she's going to have any success because I think she's now a very damaged candidate. I mean, the stuff that came out and the crazy that has been on display with her personality and her campaign, I think it's very offsetting. I mean, there are going to be people in Davidson County who turn out big if she's going to be running, but I don't know that she will ever overcome some of the crazy that is now attached to her name.
I think she is a damaged brand.
I think you're right. Yeah,
and I think that a more serious candidate. There was a guy yesterday. His name was Julian Epstein. He is a longtime Democrat strategist.
Yeah,
he actually
very left.
Yes, he called her not a serious candidate. So I think that tells you.
I heard some Republicans. I had some folks over at the House last night, and one of them was a state senator, and he said, "Look, if this was a flawed candidate." Mm-hmm. And she, they thank goodness the Democrats put somebody up against us who was determined, but the audience determined and the voters determined that she's just whack. She's just whack.
Wackadoo.
And yeah, I mean, she's a wackadoodle, man. There's no doubt about it. And that came across. If they had put somebody else up, it might have been a different turnout. Who knows? But one way or the other, look, you take your victories, you celebrate them, you move forward. It's a big victory for Matt Van Epps, and I'm very happy for him. You know, having done one of the debates in the primary among all the Republican candidates, I thought he comported himself quite well, and he handled himself on that debate stage very well. I was impressed. Privately, when people came up to me and said, "Who do you think did best?" I mentioned Matt Van Epps, and I said I think he really was very solid in his answers, and I think he's going to make a good congressman. I'm very excited about what he'll do when he gets to Washington, and I'm just so thankful that people responded in a big way to make sure that he went over the top.
I think, Brian, we're talking about this. I think this is actually the best possible scenario, and here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is the Republicans won, but there was enough of a margin where, as you said earlier, there's alarm bells that are actionable. The Republicans can learn from what happened here in the 7th Congressional District last night. So, and there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There is this conversation about affordability, and I agree with you, and I've been saying this for quite some time, and I know you have as well, that the president and the Republicans have done a lot of things to improve the economy. I've been going through them. And I think all they have to do is they've got to bake in, and it's going to be a great 2026. We've got more with Brian Wilson coming up next. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather for today, not as cold as yesterday. Sunshine, though, a few clouds and a high of 45. Right now, it's like 29 degrees outside, really cold, and I appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. By the way, WTN TV is now up and running and has been. So if you want to, go, Brian, I was really heartbroken. You of anybody can appreciate the situation I was in this morning. I actually wore a new shirt, and then I came to work, and the WTN TV was not working. So it was like my button-up shirt was for nothing. So now we have it working, but I did force Louie and Joan to compliment my shirt in the 5 o'clock hour.
Okay, well,
I'm such a tyrant. All right, real quick, you want to talk about the Venezuelan boats?
Yeah, listen, I'm big on what we're doing. I think we sent down an aircraft carrier battle group to that region, and we told Maduro, get out, and he said, I don't want to get out. And then we said, okay, fine. Consider the airspace over Venezuela shut down, which they can do. Yep. And then he called back to the White House and tried to work out some kind of deal where maybe he would leave, and they wouldn't take the call. So, he's sweating in Venezuela, and he should, because I'm telling you, for a long time, I've been a big proponent of the idea that, we should consider the narco-terrorists to be terrorists, exactly what they are, and that anywhere else in the world, if we have terrorists who are working against the United States' best interest, we don't hesitate. I mean, Democrats haven't hesitated. Obama didn't hesitate. Biden didn't hesitate. And Republican presidents have not hesitated to do what needed to be done in the interest of national security. This has always been a national security issue. And we should have been shutting it down a long time ago. I like it. Now, all of this stuff about, was there a second shot? I don't know how that's going to shake out. It does, I know that the left hates the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. But I'm not sure it was his call. He says, basically, I was in the room. I watched it happen in the skiff. And then as soon as the first shot was taken, I got up. I had other things to do. He wasn't even in the room when the second shot was taken. I don't really think that's going to be much. At the end of the day, I am completely in favor of what we're doing in that region. And I don't have any hesitation at all. If you send a drug boat out there, you should expect that it's gonna get smoked. And at the end of the day, if you think that's a bad thing, quit sending the drug boats into the ocean headed for America.
It's not that
Stop
hard.
it.
I want to know
you can end this in a minute.
I want to know how they keep getting people to get in the boats and take the drugs over here.
Well, you're talking a lot of times about very uneducated people who are desperate to make a living in that part of the world, and and perhaps not even aware of the danger because they're just not plugged in the same way that we are.
I love, though, how they're saying, oh, these are fishing boats. Yet they've got these high-powered motors. You know
I've
what I
never
mean?
seen a fishing boat that'll do 60 miles an hour on the water.
All right, so inquiring minds want to know, Brian, how many Christmas trees do you now have in your home?
Well, I haven't gone around and counted each one, but you know, I thought when this all started that it would be around 15, which is outrageous. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, it's out of control. It's beautiful. I love it, actually, but I mean, it's really, I mean, that's a lot. And then, I don't know, there were these boxes that kept showing up on the front door that had Cabana Wife's name on it from Amazon, and they were suspiciously the size of Christmas tree boxes. And all of a sudden, I have been sort of informed that, well, 15 is very low. It may be more like 25, perhaps 27. We've lost track.
What?
I know, it's insane. Now, some of them are little small trees and some of them are big trees. I mean, we got a big old, 12-foot tree on the front porch, and we got one out in the pool area. We got two out in the pool area. One is the traditional flamingo tree, and then the other one has not yet been decorated. I don't know what it's going to be. And we're in the process now of still decorating trees, but it's beautiful, and it is lovely to look at. It's a lot of work, and quite frankly, I think when Christmas is over, I'm going to have a talk with Cabana Wife about, this addiction that she has.
Expect to get nowhere.
I was going to say.
Well, my addiction is guitars, and that's a fairly harmless addiction. Her addiction is Christmas trees. There's just, that's the way it is.
Brian?
But at least they're beautiful
at
the end of the day.
I got to push back on you. I know how much guitars cost. They're a lot more expensive than Christmas trees.
Yeah, but I don't go out and buy 27 of them. So, I have a lot of guitars.
Actually, Brian, I've been in your music room. I know that you've got several bass guitars and a whole bunch of electrics. And by the way, they all have to have the amplifiers and the pedals and all those other things.
It's a hobby. But, people spend a lot of money to play golf, so...
Yeah, there is that too. All right, well, thank you, Brian. And people are telling me to ask you about the big food spread that Cabana Wife Wilson put out last night.
It was always a great spread. And I'll be seeing you in a week over at the house, Dan, for our big party, and I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to be the guy that walks in. I'm going to have the napkin in my shirt. And a couple of utensils in my...
The Dangria will be awaiting you.
Oh, yeah. All right, very good. Thank you, Brian. We'll talk to you soon. 6:52, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan, you going to go to the Wilson Christmas party?
You bet I am.
Did you have the Dangria last year?
I did not.
So do you know the story behind the Dangria?
No, I guess I don't.
All right, very, very, very quickly.
Okay.
So I'm getting married. This was a couple years ago. I'm getting married at the Parthenon. Well, unbeknownst to us, we had this whole thing where we were going to have Dangrias, but my Dangrias, they feature red wine. Well, the Parthenon, I had no idea. They're so hoity-toity. They've got these white marble floors. They wouldn't allow. We found this out like the day.
No.
It was like a day or two before the wedding. And so we're just, I was okay. But Amy was like apoplectic. So... there's so many reasons why we love Cabana Wife Wilson. But she concocts some sort of Dangria featuring white wine.
Oh, nice.
And it was incredible, this wine that she concocted. So she concocts it. And you know what she also did? Is I'm having breakfast, I think, at IHOP. And she drives to IHOP. And I'm trying different Dangrias in the middle of the parking lot. And it was the greatest thing. And she, honest to goodness gracious, she saved the day. She really did. And it was incredible. So I will always be indebted to Cabana Wife Wilson. And so that is the story behind the Dangrias that you will perhaps be drinking at Brian Wilson's Christmas party.
I look forward to that.